We're chilling here on the edge of the South Bronx waterfront in New York City. The South Bronx, the borough that gave birth to hip-hop, that helped birth salsa, that helped birth boogaloo, an amazing cultural landscape for the United States and for the world. The borough that survived an era of devastating disinvestment by government in the 1970s. Today that's changing. The cheap waterfront land lined by industry today is being looked at as prime real estate for developers looking to cash in on the latest frontier for gentrification in New York City. But the people are fighting back.
Well, I'm a resident. I've raised my family here. I got a daughter in college. Now I got a newborn son who's 9 months old. I've been a part of this community for almost 2 decades. And about 10 neighbors came together and formed a coalition. There's now about 51 organizations. And we did that stand up for economic, environmental, and social justice issues. And we kind of woke up to a call, or coalesced around a call to stop the truck traffic and more diesel truck emissions in our community. And there's a plan to bring 1,000 more diesel trucks to this neighborhood by relocating one business, Fresh Direct, from Long Island City to the Bronx, because they want to make Long Island City a place where the higher economic earners live and with the nice views of Manhattan. And they were moving a lot of industrial facilities from one part of the city to our community because we're zoned for this heavy industrial use, right? But it's hurting the lives of our children. So we stood up and rose up and said, no more will we allow our community to be treated like a dumping ground. No more will we allow our city and our state agencies to bring facilities to our community that are not enhancing our quality of life. And we should not be asked to shoulder the burden for everything the city has here. We got largest waste management or waste facilities in our community where we handle all of the Bronx waste right here. Some 5,000 tons of waste on the same land they're trying to bring Fresh Direct with their 1,000 diesel truck trips, relying on an environmental impact statement that's more than 20 years old. And they want us to pay for it in the tune of $140 million. It's just over the top, man. But they usually do these kind of things to communities of color that are poor, right? Because they're having meetings about our community downtown at 10 o'clock in the morning, like on Mondays and Tuesdays, when we got to work. That's right. So they expect us not to come. They expect us to be so wound up trying to just feed our families that we can't respond to the injustice being done to our community.
For years, the neighborhood has been known as Mott Haven or Port Morris. Now they want to rename it and rebrand it and call it the Piano District. Going so far as throwing parties with celebrities and socialites with themes that seem to mock the history of the Bronx, all in an effort to rebrand the neighborhood for its new arrivals.
So there's a sliver of land here that some developer thought really great idea, to build 6 25-story towers on our waterfront, right? They bought 5 acres of prime waterfront land for $58 million, the price of an apartment in Manhattan. So the Bronx is available real cheap according to, but what is it adding to our quality of life? How will they create the Great Divide? By creating luxury housing on our waterfront, where we don't even have access to the water that surrounds us. So somehow we have to make sure that the developer understands his social responsibility to make sure that there is no Great Divide in our community, that we are a community that's united around creating quality of life enhancements for our people who are for our community, that just can't create this Great Divide where on one side of the highway there's one level of existence, on the other there's another level of existence. There's a critical possibility that hyper-gentrification is in the works. Well, we're looking at an area, if you look at here, this is what we have, this is a problem what's going on in our community or in our peninsula, where the land has been left to deteriorate. After every rain, after every snowfall, after every month and every year passes by, our waterfront continues to deteriorate. We have a situation where the deterioration is so bad that that's about to fall into the Harlem River. And we've been trying to not just be someone who opposes actions, but also have vision to propose actions. We're standing right now in one spot, this Lincoln Avenue street end, that we want to make this a destination place for our community to come and recreate by the water that's right here. But it also could be a job creator, because we've seen when green space is created, people come to these areas and people open up businesses because they got to serve the people that come here. If you look at the various green spaces around the city, Central Park, Brooklyn Bridge Park, the High Line, all these areas have been created for recreational opportunities, create jobs. But that's what economic development looks like, I think, in the 21st century.
The result of years of industrial development along the South Bronx waterfront has led to environmental degradation, as well as some of the highest asthma rates in the entire country right here in the South Bronx because of all the pollution that goes on in the industries along the waterfront. We're hoping that the new developments that happen along the waterfront don't just benefit wealthier, new residents that come in for the luxury living. We're hoping that people from the South Bronx have access to the waterfront and don't have to go sneaking around and get into the water like this. We out.
Peace, y'all. We here with legendary TBB members, you know what I mean? If y'all don't know what time it is, I'm talking about the Bronx Boys. You know, I'm talking about 1975. I'm talking about TBB Rockin' Crew. You know what I mean? I'm talking about the Mecca chapter. You know what I'm saying? So, just so y'all understand, you know what I mean, the levels of what we talking about here. I got my brother Slex, you know what I'm saying? And Dollar Bill. You know what I'm talking about? Representing TBB. Let's get to it. Tell us how y'all got down with TBB. Tell us a bit of the history for those that don't know.
TBB started in 1975. You could say the Rockin' Crew part started in 75 from Bash. But TBB was a graffiti crew before a Rockin' Crew. You know, so as time went on, you know, we started becoming B-boys, and that's when we started the division in 75. And the history of us was just that we was just the first really Puerto Rican Rockin' Crew with a Cocolo in it. Because a lot of people call me Cocolo Capicu or Dollar Bill, you know what I'm saying? Reading about Cocolo Capicu meaning a black $100. Right. Okay? So that was the reason why, you know, back in there, how we did it and everything. And it was all about, you know, joining together and being a family. It wasn't just a crew, we was a family. And just like now, this brother right here, Slanks, because what we did back then, he's still keeping us alive. So we did most harmless to them. You know what I'm saying? Because they the ones that's continuing to keep our name strong, representing it to the fullest.